Hey College Success, this is your step 5 video of your final project. Up until this point, I have already uploaded and made available your steps 1 and 2, and then 3 and 4 into video form. So quick reminder, step 1, you are giving me a description of your career, about a paragraph of describing the kind of responsibilities and tasks that someone in your field will be expected to complete. So just basically telling us what is it that you're going to do when you get into your career field. Step 2 is giving us kind of that pathway of how you're going to get from where you are now into your career. So does that mean, how many degrees you're going to have to finish, how many licensure exams, how many kind of other steps are you going to have to take before you get into your field. Step 3 is your organization. So in the step 3 and 4 video, we did some Google searching to try to find an example. So finding a professional organization or association related to your field, telling me the purpose of that organization, and then 3 benefits that its members reap when they join that organization. 4 was the professional code of conduct, kind of the ethical guidelines or responsibilities in terms of your behavior as a person in your field. You're summarizing those kind of guidelines in step 4. And then step 5 is your reference slide. So as I mentioned in previous videos, keeping track of the sources that you're using will be really helpful for this last step. So we already started, here is our PowerPoint we started in previous videos. So I'm going to go ahead and get my last slide ready to go. It's my references slide. So this is the last step, my reference slide. And so let's say that you've been using the BLS for maybe steps 1 and 2. So I'm going to go, I think I've used physical therapy. I'm going to go ahead and get to that site now so I can kind of show you how you would go about doing a citation. So citation for our purposes, because most fields, with the exception of a few, use APA. So for our purposes, for the citation slide, we're going to also use APA. I like to use the APA OWL at Purdue, and you can do just kind of a quick Google search, OWL at Purdue, and you'll get this right here. This is a great reference page that if you are somewhat familiar with APA, or even if you're not, it really does walk you through kind of how to set up your citations. So because we're in APA, this takes you to the formatting and style guide right here. So I'm going to click on there. And it goes through like a general format. And I'm going to assume that you all are using electronic sources. That's not to say that you can't use like a text of some sort, but for the most part, I think all of your sources are going to be electronic, meaning websites. So I'm going to click on Reference List, Electronic Sources, and you'll see here that it's going to tell you, okay, here, if you've been using a web page, a website, here's how it's going to look. So it walks you through how to set it up, and then it gives you an example of how it looks. So your author, last name, initials, the year, month, date, the title of the page, and the site name, the URL. And there's an example down there. And for some of you, though, you might be like, well, there is no author. It's an organization. Well, here gives an example of how to cite that if it's an organization and not an individual. What if your author is not listed? Here's the situation for that. If your publication is not listed, here's that. So it really does walk you through different types of situations that you could encounter as you're using web pages. What's also nice is at the top, they have Citation Machine, if anyone has utilized that in the past, built in to kind of help you cite your source. So this OWL at Purdue tells you how to do it, and then Citation Machine kind of gives you a chance to help build the citation. So I'm going to go, let's say I did use physical therapy. Here's the source I used, the website, so I'm going to copy that. I'm going to go ahead and put it in there. There's my website, and I'm going to hit Cite. It's going to take me to a page. It's going to help build, and Citation Machine does have ads running on the side, so just kind of be aware of that. So if you say, okay, is this the right website? Yep, looks good. I'm going to click Cite. It's going to say, okay, here's all the information I have. Is this right? Yep. I'm going to hit continue. You're going to review your information. If you have anything else you need to add at this point, you would plug that information in. Check that everything else is correct and complete citation. And then you'll see, here it is. Here's your citation. And what you can do is copy it, export it, copy paste right into here. And of course, APA, your citation page needs to be alphabetized. So that is a nice way to kind of use Citation Machine in combination with the APA OWL at Purdue. And then while you paste it in there, you can always just double check, like, okay, sometimes Citation Machine doesn't get it 100% correct. It might not have the italics correct. So you might just want to double check, like, all right, does this look like this page says it should look? I do have an example, from the one I've been showing you. Like, here's an example of a reference page. You can see, like, right here, how she has cited her sources. She used the BLS. So there you go is her citation for that. Okay. So that is your step 5. It's just plugging in your references. My anticipation is that you're going to have at least 2 sources, that you got your career information from, and then your professional organization. You may have been able to get steps 1 and 2 from one source and step 3 and 4 from a second source, or some of you may have 3 or 4 sources. So it just really depends on where you're able to retrieve information. So there's no rule about how many sources you need to have. And then, of course, as I mentioned a few times, inside your course, under the Lessons tab, there is your folder for all of this information, final project videos. So you'll be able to see all those videos. Eventually, I will also have a whole review where I go over the entire project one last time to make sure you're on the right track. Hope this was helpful. See you next time.